yeah, we're gonna finally go over some gi footage that we've been neglecting for a little bit. I think we all got wrapped up in the preparation for the competition at the beginning of November, and then the holiday schedule just, of course, screws with things. So let's get back to gi stuff. What's up, Joe? How you doing, buddy? Let's see. And the stream may be a little shorter tonight. This is some little less footage than typical, but should be able to cover just about every role, so that'll be good. So we got Justin, one of our resident gi lovers, and Jordan. And Jordan, I don't know if you're in the chat, but I can't recall if since you've started, we may not have even gone over gi footage since you've started. So it'll probably be interesting to like you, Josh, and maybe any other newbies who are watching, some of the differences between how you operate in gi versus no gi. So I'll try to highlight some of that stuff if I see it. And one of the primary places you see that is when you're on somebody's back. So I guess right here, a big thing to keep in mind. I assume you snuck around Justin's back here and attached yourself. So I assume you're probably going to be looking for strangles from the rear. None of that will happen until you get yourself perfectly aligned with Justin. So like your hips right behind his hips rather than off to the side the way they are now, and your head, very closely aligned to his head, your shoulders aligned to his shoulders. And that could be a bit of a pain in no-gi just because you have a lot less to grip. But you can normally get there. You could recover that position a little bit more easily in gi. Good top pressure, keeping Justin pinned. And Justin doing everything he can to keep his knees in as you attempted to switch sides there. Got Josh, Cole, and then Brandon and Steven. So Brandon, this is a great way to initiate a guard pass. You're getting your hands kind of underneath his heels and his Achilles and pushing him backwards, stacking him up onto his neck and shoulders. I want you to close the distance here. Like bring your knees to the ground and like really stack in behind Steven. Make it difficult for Steven to make it impossible for Steven to get his hips back to the ground, keep his legs over his head, and then you could, as you decide which way you want to go, you can start to, force him to a side and control his torso as you set up your side control. You just had Steven so inverted there. I think you should have been able to transition that to a guard pass. Josh using a little bit of off balancing by pushing on Cole's head, trying to get Cole to his side, which is great. I mean, that's exactly what we went over in class recently. Standing guard break. Justin's in the zone right now, playing with some of his lapel wizardry. So that was a really quick guard pass, Josh. again, this might be one of your first streams with us talking gi. This is definitely coming from, I think, a no gi tendency, like the grip you have on Cole's leg here. None of it's wrong. I'm not saying like this needs to necessarily be corrected. Just keep in mind the pants grip is going to be really, really useful, to the point where you may actually start to hate no gi because you just can't control legs as easily as you can in gi. But I'd like to see you being a little less timid in your approach and in your gripping against a seated opponent. Like get grips on the inside of the knee. Really, I don't want to tell you just one, because there are going to be different answers for different situations. But little leg drag is certainly not a bad technique. I just hope you don't get too. I hope you're not leaving anything on the table by not gripping cloth, since you have the ability to here. And then Jordan, you're looking, this is first roll. I don't know how hard you guys are looking to go here. Justin may be making this difficult. It looks like he's trying to set up. He's kind of, let's pretend like Justin isn't being sneaky right now with his this jacket grip he has right here. Yeah, perfect. And again, like what I'm saying about passing, like that's that sort of thing that I'm talking about, where you're gripping legs. If you want to look, or you're gripping the pants. If you want to look up some stuff, you could look at Toriando passing, which is just a style. It's kind of a family of passes. Put it in the chat for you. Toriando passing. That'll give you an idea about how to put it to use. But Jordan, what I was saying is, you've got a great frame across the throat. In basic side control escape methods, what you're going to do here is a nice bridge towards Justin, create space, drop your hips quickly, favoring your right side, so like you're turning towards him, and pull your right knee, or what I'll call your bottom knee, in between you and Justin. I don't want to see you just getting too comfortable on your back here, especially at white belt. You definitely want to be working on good positional escaping habits, and like getting good at that bridging and shrimping is going to be a huge part of that. I mean, we went over that forever ago, so I know they aren't new concepts, but this is where you get to put them into practice. Cole doing what he can to capture the leg. He's got the knee under control now. Fighting back to a half guard. And this footage is from, what is this? This was November 17th. So I don't know if this was half guard week or not. I don't think it was. This may have been open guard. So why don't we just get rid of that. Cole kind of on a shoulder crunch here with his butterflies in. He's got the underhook. And Josh, I hope by now, after the last 2 weeks, you've gotten a good lesson in the importance of winning that underhook battle. Let's revisit Steven and Brandon here. Looks like Steven caught him in something. Maybe an armbar? No, he gets out. Maybe they're just getting too close to the side. Really good pressure, Brandon, as you're turning the corner here. Still didn't see what happened there. Maybe it was just an armbar. I think maybe Steven got his hips right behind the elbow there. Okay. And then Josh, in the same way, look at Cole. He's working from top half guard, really putting a focus on keeping that underhook. You managed to sneak it out, and you took top position there with the underhook on the I guess what we would call what you could call the near side, getting your hips up and going over. But yeah, half guard week, or the half guard fortnight, if you will, that we spend. Like, that's always, I feel like that's always the primary lesson for the new guys, is pay very close attention to the benefits of the underhook. Eventually you can kind of like work around it or work without it, not because there are better methods per se. It's just sometimes you can't win it and you still gotta have stuff that you can do. But that is the place to start for sure. And I would be a little careful here, Josh, in doing this standing guard break. Cole's been able to keep your posture broken. Actually, you may even just be kind of doing it yourself. Like, you're still committing to the grip. Cole doesn't exactly have a pulling grip on you here. You got to be careful. This is where you can leave yourself very vulnerable to triangles and arm bars. When you go to work standing guard breaks, remember, I want you postured up straight. Like, you gotta pretend like there isn't somebody hanging off of you. You just stand straight up, and then you'll work the technique from there. But right here, I hope you can see how vulnerable you're making yourself. If Cole unlocked his leg and threw this leg up and over around your neck here, he's gonna get a triangle or an arm bar, depending on how you react. Okay, looks like Justin got to the back. Can't really see what. Okay. So this is cool to see Justin get this. He showed me this a while ago. A very sneaky gi strangle. So let's see. What he's doing right now is he has, I want to say he has his own jacket. The right hand tail of his jacket, you can see his own jacket's a little twisted up right now. He's got that over Jordan's right shoulder, and he's holding that tail with the cross-side arm, with his left arm at the underhook. And then we could see, zoom in on this a little bit. Oops. We could see Justin's right hand here getting in place to pass off that the tail of his gi to his strangle arm, or not his strangle arm, his arm that is not even engaged. It's neither an underhook nor an overhook. But now you could start to see why he's doing that. He's passing off from that underhooking hand, coming up over the top of Jordan's left shoulder and grabbing that gi tail, wrapping it around his neck and pulling from there. I really like this variation of the strangle. Let's see if we can catch a good. Yeah, so he's passed off from the underhooking hand to the rear hand, and is now, he's got everything he needs to hit the finish. It's a nice variation. And as always, if you guys see something in the footage that I don't address, let me know. I'm trying to split my vision between the four of you right now. I feel like I'm missing everything and trying to find everything. What's that sweep? Oh, okay, Brandon was just trying to break him down. Josh working your way to I don't know if that's a try. I can't see if the arm's in or not. Yeah, kind of a trap triangle position here. Cole's going to make it really difficult to keep everything contained, though. And then he's coming over really heavy on that leg, pointing your knees away, securing his pass. What's up, James? Missed you on Saturday, man. But I understand why. Right, Mike entering the mats. What's going on, Cody? Yeah, it's understandable, man. I probably would have skipped myself too in your position. So let's just make note here, since we have contrasting gis in between Mike and Justin. Look at what Justin's doing. I want to kind of follow his lapel grip that he's set up here. We all know how much he loves to play with that. So that's going to make it very difficult for Mike to sprawl that leg back. Unless he breaks that grip. Or I'm already getting lost in it. Mike can sprawl his leg back. Justin was making more of a connection, I think, with his own lower body. The way he was weaving that leg in, he was making a connection to Mike's upper body using that gi. Mike stacking real heavy, practicing some of that leg riding stuff. I know Bertram's been a fan of that recently. I think Mike was playing around with it as well. But staying really heavy on Justin's legs here, not just hopping over and trying to establish back control. Looks like he lost his hook, though. He had his knee in, but Justin swam his elbow back in. James, I hope you could still join on the stream every once in a while. I don't know what the I don't know if the time difference will be too much of a pain, but. And if you get some footage out there of you rolling with some other people, man, we got to figure out a way to have you send it back to us, and we can throw it up on the stream and review it. It'll be a fun change of pace from what we normally do. Justin almost taking a page out of Derek Lewis's book and just standing up, but Mike was ready for it. Just staying heavy, getting behind the legs. So I know Mike, I know that he points this out from time to time. This was a little, I guess Justin's a little mobile here, so it's not quite as clear of an example. But when you get to north-south on somebody, north-south chokes are great. You can work with those. I know like Daniel has good success with those. Luke has strangled me with those plenty of times. But you also have a lot of arm attacks that can open up. And Mike here started digging in on Justin's arm pretty early. He establishes this grip and is trying to get underneath Justin's elbow here. So as he switches around here, he goes to north-south, and what Mike loves to do here is dig on an arm. So let's just say, well, Let's let this play out, see if he does it. So let's say right here, he's dug under Justin's arm. A common response that your opponent's going to have when you do this is they're going to turn hard in the direction of the elbow that's getting lifted up, and they're going to try to bring it back to the mat. Problem is, when they do that, their other elbow just comes up and becomes exposed. So Mike often baits that reaction by digging on one arm and waiting for you to turn. He'll let the other arm go because he knows the second arm is going to be a lot easier to get. Let's see. I don't know if Justin falls for it here. So Mike's left north-south at this point. He doesn't have full exposure on that arm. It's 12 hours ahead. Yeah, that'd be cool. Definitely make sure that they're cool with it. So Mike doing what he can to prevent Justin's leg from coming in and re-guarding. And for the new guys, I want you to notice just how much pressure Mike is keeping on Justin as he comes around here. We talk about during drilling, especially some of the takedowns we've done recently, not letting your knees touch the mat. Reason being they support your weight. When you do, it's less weight on your opponent. Look at Mike's legs as he transitions around. He's keeping his knees off the mat, digging his feet in, staying heavy over Justin's hip here, making it difficult for Justin to move, making it difficult for him to sit out, to rotate. All things that he could do to disrupt Mike's progress. And now Justin, I think anybody who's rolled with him knows how much of a pain in the ass this turtle is. So Mike's doing what he needs to do to get the hooks in. He inserts that right knee, which I talked about with I talked about with the twins, the Walker twins, Saturday, and a few people today. I can't remember who now. But if you're watch Mike's right knee drives in, and it's typically going to point towards the hips. It's pointing a little across the body right now. But he's then hooking the other leg with his left leg. And I would bet he's either going to do a power half Nelson to break him down or sag really heavy to his right. And I'm totally wrong. Okay, he goes up and over and rolls through to get the exposure on the top leg. Okay, it's a good third option. If you can't break a guy down to his hips and the power half Nelson's not working, you could go up and over and roll through with it. Probably didn't think of that because I don't do it, because I don't think I can make too many people roll. And then, if you guys haven't heard my spiel, Josh, Jordan, any of the newbies, there's almost zero reason to ever go for a rear naked strangle in the gi. Everybody is wearing a rope around their neck. We saw it with Justin earlier on Jordan. We see it with Mike right now. Mike isn't trying to get a rear naked strangle. He's established a cross collar grip. Justin did really well to get out of that. But he's establishing this grip, and if the hand fighting went Mike's way, his strangle arm would get to the cross side lapel for Justin and start setting up a much more powerful sliding collar strangle is what it's called. And he would hit the strangle on Justin that way. There's just way too much fabric and grips to really make rear naked strangles an effective weapon in the gi. Jordan rocking the Americana right now on Cole. Mike immediately pulling guard, not wanting any of that arm drag smoke from Brandon. It looked like Brandon... I don't know, Brandon, if you're in the chat or not, maybe you could clarify, but it almost looks like you're going for a toe hold here. I don't know if that's a toe hold or if you're just trying to like extend Mike's leg. Because you're working, okay. Just be something fun to point out. You're working half guard and Mike's got his knee shield in from the looks of it. And you go to turn the corner. I don't know if it worked as well as you thought. So when when you're dealing with a knee shield, you can push it down to a low knee shield position and try to pin it with your body or an arm weave. You could try to open it up beyond that like diagonal seat belt position and try to maybe knee cut through or go chest to chest quickly. Another option is to get the guy to straighten his own leg out. And a great way to do that is a toe hold. So if I'm right, I think what happened here is Brandon went to turn the corner. Mike was able to keep his knee in, but since Brandon is now facing Mike's knees, he can set up an attack on Mike's foot. A common defense to the toe hold is straightening the leg out, booting your foot. Well, if you think about it, if Mike straightens his leg out right now, he removes his own knee shield, and then Brandon can settle into that chest-to-chest position and start going to work from a better half guard position, a more positionally advanced half guard position. Mike isn't really gonna let you do that though, so I don't think he was too fazed by it. But that's just it's a good little dilemma to play. It's like I'm either gonna break your foot or you're gonna remove your knee shield. Most people remove the knee shield. Josh and Steven. Just want to look at Cole and Justin here. See, I don't like seeing Cole climb to a position on the back leg out without a hook in. He's just asking to get rolled over right now. Yeah, and even though he gets the hooks in, I feel like that's not a very it's not going to be a sure bet that happens. So definitely do what you can to establish some sort of penetration underneath the hips before you start fully committing yourself to the back. Working the cow catcher. So from that front headlock position, Mike has Brandon in. A nice shallow underhook. And I wouldn't even call it an overhook, just kind of a block on the other arm. In this case, on Brandon's left arm. Can be enough to just easily put somebody on their back and start working from top position. Brandon coming up with a good body lock. Okay, so Brandon, I really like that pressure you came up with. The finish needs to be worked on. So this is where you get to start playing around with some foot pummeling. You did well to put Mike on his side or on his back, but now as you hop around, you see that Mike just follows you and ends up capturing. I think he captures a leg. But if you take your time, stay nice and heavy on him, but you know, pull your own foot towards your butt and then hook inside of Mike's leg, and you're gonna. This is kind of a form of that leg riding stuff too that we saw Peter's doing earlier, but pummel your leg over and pin his leg. Then you can work to pummel it over the other leg and pin that leg, and now you've got both legs, you know, knees pointed away from you. His legs are essentially in front of you, and you can pass around to the side, rather than getting a little too excited here. You'll watch. You jump up. Mike's looking for a wing sweep there, but he keeps his leg in between your legs, and now he's just gonna work half guard. So you're in a really great spot. You just got to be a little bit more patient in pinning and controlling his legs with your legs. Good base, Justin. So you see Mike, in contrast to what I was talking about with Cole, he's on top of Brandon's back right now, but I believe he took the opportunity to get his right hook in. I think it was in from half guard. So he gets Brandon's arms, both arms across the body. You can kind of sort of see Brandon's in like an arm drag position, so Mike's going to climb up around the back. So he already has a hook in, which is why it'll be safer for him to stay up, loaded on top of Brandon here. He doesn't have to worry about being like thrown forward and bucked off. Gets his... Oh, alright, Justin didn't give him a chance. Cole may have been able to sit back to a cross, like back step into a cross ashi from there, but both of his legs were trapped there for a second, so it would have been pretty difficult to do. What did Mike end up getting? I think Mike gets the bow and arrow here, yeah. So the whole time, okay, so Mike was, let's watch Mike's right arm. So the one posted to the mat. Here he starts digging in, or trying to establish his cross-side grip on Brandon's collar. It's going to be a bit of a struggle, but he manages to get it up the shoulder and higher on the lapel. He's not even inside the lapel yet. There we go. Now he just slipped the grip in. And I think Brandon knows he's in some trouble here because of the grip fight. Let's go back a few frames. Oh, wait. Let's see what Brandon does here. Mike's disengaging the legs to try to get perpendicular, which will facilitate the bow and arrow finish. Gets the pants grip. Sets on the strangle. Okay, so ideally, when we do this move, let's see. I don't want to say that just yet. So let's talk defense. Brandon is focusing on the hand fight here. This position, it's going to be difficult to break a grip. Break a hand's grip on your lapel. Not to say it's impossible. One thing you can do is, like I've talked about, I think in a recent stream, when you're attacking a grip, attack the knuckle line to try to loosen up that connection here. That might compromise his grip a bit, but Mike's got a strong grip. If it doesn't happen, what I want you to think about is instead focusing on his elbow, his bottom elbow. In order for this strangle to finish, he's got to pull across your neck, so he's got to come around this way. If you grab his elbow and you don't allow him to pull, it's going to buy you some time, maybe a little bit of space as he tries to adjust. And you can work on trying to slip your head out of the hole, trying to rotate towards him. You're gonna impede his ability to actually hit that finish. So I would change your hand grip. If you can't break that grip open, don't waste too much time on it, and then go. I grip behind the elbow, like on the tricep and on the forearm, and I grab the cloth and I just pull everything nice and tight. That buys you a little bit of time. And then what Mike is contending with here is also the fact that his bottom side elbow is the one that's doing the strangle, meaning the ground is in his own way. So that's where a little bit of the strangle is impeded here. You can watch as he sits up. He'll get his pants grip. He goes to finish the move. But I think Brandon's like putting some weight on it. Mike can't quite get the elbow behind Brandon, which is just indicative of him pulling that lapel tight. But once he does, I mean, it's not impossible to get. So once he does get it, it's a tap. I'm curious if Cole's setting up something similar. Well, not now. He doesn't have a lapel grip. Way to come out on top, Justin. And almost into an arm triangle position. Oh. Justin got a little sneaky there at the end, too. Let's watch this. I didn't even see him slip this in. So, right here, Justin uses, again, he's using the tail of his gi jacket. Let's go back a few frames. So, right here, we could see it poking through. He grabs that and feeds it to his right hand. So right there, he makes the grab. Oh no, okay, he didn't, he took it with him as he set up the arm triangle. Now he feeds it to the right hand, okay. And now he's looking to turn the corner, and man, I wish like Daniel was in the chat. Maybe he knows the name of this one. But this is kind of, what is this called? I don't know. It's kind of similar to like a Bravo choke, but I mean, I don't even know if I'd say that. You're using your own gi. You're not using your opponent's gi. So I'm not familiar with what you call that one, but that was a sneaky one. That's the kind of shit that Justin gets me with, that I have to panic escape out of because I didn't realize he was doing it the whole time. Cole with his overhooks. Trying to elevate Steven. And there he is. So Jordan, I don't know if you came across this move in any of the half guard classes we've done, tell me at class if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but a knee lever from half guard is a very useful move in situations like this where you're chest to chest, you're flattened out, Mike is winning inside position, you know, he gets his underhook here. I'll try to explain it now, but it's going to seem a little like, yeah, right, that wouldn't work. But if you can manage to get, or if you find Mike's knee here on the ground, the knee that's between your two legs, if you put that knee on the ground and you step this leg outside, like you just cross your leg over his, you step right outside his knee, and then your outside leg, the left one in this case, just steps on top of your right foot. You've kind of pinned right outside his knee. Your knees are pointing to the ceiling, and then you just go and turn them out that way. So what's gonna happen is you will off balance Mike to the point where you either sweep him if he doesn't base out, or he takes this right arm of his that is underhooking you, and he has to base out in order to not get swept. That's your opportunity to not just relieve yourself of that underhook, but then to establish a frame, start creating space, get out of that chest-to-chest pin, and then get back to a safe position. So remind me at class if you haven't seen that, if you're not familiar with it. It's a knee lever. Just tell me whatever, you know, bottom half guard magic trick I was talking about. I'll show it to you at class, but it's really, really useful when you're pinned in bottom half guard. We went over that in fundamentals. That's fine. It's going to be one of those moves that you're going to have to drill and drill and drill. We often sell ourselves short on it by stepping outside the shin and not the knee. So yeah, it's gonna be one worth drilling and going over again. So happy to do that. And then here, just another example of what happens when we lose the underhook battle. Mike's confident here. He doesn't care about that arm that's around his head. You're not really gonna exert any power over him from there, unless you're like a secret judo black belt. Just trying to see how that got established. Slow that down. So, okay, you turn towards him. That's what it is. You turn towards him and you shot in for this grip. Would have been really great if you got an underhook though. Looks like you came over the arm, and now Mike knows he has the underhook, right? So even as you get up to your knees, you temporarily win the hip height battle here. That's normally a good thing, but without the underhook, doesn't really turn out well for you. So Mike can pressure into you, move behind you. Now he has overtaken that hip height battle. Good regard though. Honestly, at like between you and Josh and any other new folks, I'd like to see you guys escaping to guard and like doing exactly what you just did. You're in a bad spot, you work back to a safe position, you set up your closed guard. Would an overhook, at the very least, been better than where I actually ended up? Maybe. So that's where you use not just an overhook but a whizzer. Here's the thing: when you set that up here, this is the moment where you would have wanted to establish a whizzer, or let's say right here where your knees start to turn towards the mat. This angle is a little, it's not the best for you, so it's going to be hard to get an effective whizzer. Your head position right here is lower than Mike's, so you're not really going to be able to establish a good one. Let's just say, for the sake of a little thought experiment here, you guys were both equally on your knees. You don't have this like inside knee fight going on. You guys are both on your knees, hip height the same, head height the same. but you lost the underhook battle, yes, establish a whizzer. And just a reminder, whizzer is an overhook, but with heavy downward shoulder pressure. That's what's going to win you that head height battle, where you can, like Mike was teaching, I think last week, you know, you can force them down and then come around into like a front headlock position. Yeah, that would be better than gripping the head like this. The only way I could think of this like head grip working for you is if you think about it from a judo perspective. You get your hips in front of Mike's, you elevate and you throw him. You could make this work. That would be like think a hip toss, you know, just like a standard like wrestler's hip toss. I think it's like an ogoshi or something in judo. But if you had the arm over the head and then your other arm grabbed Mike's arm, and you could elevate his hips, then you could make something happen with this. It's going to be very difficult, but you could avoid all that by winning that underhook battle too. So make that your priority for now. But like I said, this was good. I'm glad to see you just escaping back to a closed guard. This is the fundamental self-defense position in jiu-jitsu. If you can get back there, it's fine. Work from there. Eventually, I want to see you escaping and sweeping, escaping and submitting. That all comes. Cole making good use of that power leg to elevate. Cole isn't lifting with this foot. He's lifting with this foot. I hope that makes sense. That left foot, the butterfly hook, just guides the person over. What elevates Josh here is Cole's hips and his connection with the ground. So he pressures off that leg, gets Josh moving, and then guides him over with that butterfly hook. So when you guys are practicing your sweeps, keep that in mind. No one's going to just, you know, leg extend somebody up and over. There's a connection with the ground that you're pushing off of and elevating your hips. Unless you want to blow your knees out. That's on you. But I don't like doing that. And then what did Mike get here? It's like maybe just a little bit of top pressure. Okay. Trying to tangle Cole up in his laundry. Oh, nice transition to the leg. Almost in on a knee bar, it looks like. Gotta get to the end of that. Looks like you're gonna get it. Looked like you finished the toe hold, not the knee bar. Maybe both. Stephen and Cole playing 50-50. See what these guys do. Nice arm drag. Beautiful. Brandon trying to set up a... I don't know if he was going for the triangle off the bat. When working open guard, which I think is when this was happening. A really great default open guard position to play. You got to think about it. It's cross collar and the same side sleeve. So you know, if you're on your back, your right hand can reach up to your opponent's right collar or right lapel, grab it. Your left hand can grab his right sleeve. You get your left foot on his hip and your right foot in his bicep. I know that's a lot, but that's a really solid starting position that you can work with if you just don't have an open guard gi game that you're developing. Some guys fall into De La Hiva and love that game. You know, other guys are gonna just try to force themselves to seated positions or just say screw it and go to half guard or whatever. But if you find yourself supine like Brandon is here, that's a great spot to be. I'm not sure if that's what he was trying to set up. This is kind of the beginning of it. Actually, this is almost exactly what I said. So he's got the foot in the hip. He's got the same side sleeve grip, the cross side collar grip. And I think he's trying to get his foot inside because we see him slip to that triangle. So he's looking to open up that sleeve and then slip his foot up over into the triangle position. It's good. I'm glad. It looked like that's what Brandon was trying to work, and if so, I'm glad he remembered that. Let's watch Justin try to set up another gi knot. We'll sweep for Peters there. So notice how early on Mike sets this sweep up. Like right here, he's got the cross-side grip on the lapel with his left arm. Or I thought he did. But now he has the same side grip with his right hand on the sleeve. Right here, you should have a good idea what Mike's about to do to you, Josh. He gets his butterfly hook in with his left leg. Just a little pull, get you off base. He's into that like scissor sweep position, and sends you over. It all starts with the grip. Nice sweep, Brandon. Good timing. For all I know, Justin already has you strangled in something, though. I feel like he's got something there. Looks like his gi Ezekiel, I think he calls it. I don't know what happened there. I couldn't see anything. Mike's really digging on that arm. Nice. Let's do that one more time. So, starting from this knee on belly position, Mike digs. He gets the underhook with his left arm, dismounts, walks his way around. Switches arms. Realizes he's not going to get the Kimura. And then, so this there are a million different ways to handle this problem, right? The grip problem that Josh is presenting here. I think a lot of people, I don't know, we don't really talk about it so much at our school. I can't recall hearing it recently. But it used to be, there was this idea with arm bars that you never cross your ankles when you're working on an arm bar. I understand why people thought that. There was this idea that you had to pinch your knees together as a finishing mechanic, as like a method of wedging in that arm that you're trying to break to hit the finish. You would pinch your knees, and people say if you cross your ankles, you can't pinch your knees. It's pretty easy to demonstrate immediately that that's not the case. You can pinch your knees together and your ankles can be crossed. You can all try it right now and prove it to yourselves. But where this comes in handy is when your opponent has, like Josh here, he's got both of his arms kind of out in front of him, as opposed to like wide, where his elbows are like, I mean, you can't even see, they're out of screen right now, but his elbows are straight and wide. A lot of times people will reach across, gather that far elbow up, and then they'll cross the ankles behind the tricep, kind of like Mike's doing here, to prevent them from getting their arms back to that very straight, pretty structurally secure position. Once you have that, once you have those arms set up like that, you can watch what Mike does here to break the grip. He immediately attacks at the wrists, and Josh's grip is much more compromised than it would be if he just had a standard gable grip with his elbows out wide and his forearms straight. So there are absolutely reasons why you can cross your ankles and make that work for you in arm bars. But again, I feel like we've been good at the school about not necessarily preaching that as law. That was definitely something you'd run into it in instruction elsewhere. And that's why you don't want to get loaded up over the back without a hook in. Guy's not always going to roll with you and expose his legs to your hooks. Josh halfway to a triangle, but Mike is keeping that leg pinned. Another benefit of the gi pants. I was just talking with Peters the other day about how I can still remember my first roll with him and how much I just got smashed from his north-south, and it's just very endearing to see all of you dealing still with the same thing I dealt with when I first started rolling with Mike. At least tonight in this footage, he hasn't used north-south quite as a finishing position, like as much as he used to, but his transitions to it and through it have been effective. So right there, Jordan, you see Mike is trying to set up a knee lever. Let's see if we can catch. It's not a perfect example of one, just because he doesn't execute it, but that's what I'm talking about. So the inside leg steps to the outside leg steps on that foot, and Mike would just raise his hips off the ground, like just a hair, and then point the knees over. And that's what's going to get Josh hopefully to base out. Kind of a little bit works there. You can kind of sort of catch it, but it's a quick adjustment. Mike's trying to... Mike gets that underhook briefly, so I think he is leaving the knee lever now and instead trying to work to get his hips out since he has the underhook established. But that's the idea behind it. Steven, I thought you were going to pin his foot to his butt there for a second. Trying to pass with that. It looked like you were thinking about it, but I couldn't tell. Nice sweep. Same sort of sweep that he hit on Josh. Just collar and sleeve grip. Little elevation. Mike really focusing on controlling that bottom leg. And notice what Mike did there as he lost grip superiority. Steven started to establish a cross collar strangle position. Mike disengaged, focused on the grip, then re-engaged once he felt safe again. You don't have to stay committed and get in this deep, phone booth tightness battle to get out of those grip fights and to get yourself safe. Looks like Steven's trying to set it up again. Mike's getting back. Only engaging, I think, when he feels like he can handle the position. Sneaking his hips behind and under Steven's legs here. Ooh. Looks like Mike might be caught in a triangle. A little TP choke. Got an interesting arm weave here, Steven. So Mike is burying that right arm to prevent the triangle finish. And I think, yeah, Steven's got the arm. Oh man, it looked like you were about to bring it over. It looked like Mike was losing that battle. Let's do that one more time. Right here. Oh, okay. So you had your arm under his forearm. I think if you had his elbow under control, Mike would have been in a lot more danger there. But he may have. For all I know, he slipped that out. It seems like you had... I don't even know what kind of grip you'd call that. It's almost like you have a Darce strangle grip or like that rear naked choke grip on Mike's arm here. But he slips the elbow and is able to posture up. Me too, man. Me too. And kind of like I was telling Jordan, or commending Jordan earlier. Steven did it here. Mike was laying on a lot of pressure. Steven's working from a flattened out half guard. What does he do? He escapes to a guard position. Or I should say re-guard. He's maybe not escaping, but just re-guarding, putting Mike back into a fairly neutral position at that point. Mike trying to do a seated guard break here by, looks like he's trying to get his knee up the middle and then extend his hips out. But we can see where that can go wrong. His base is a little extended here, and Steven's coming over with almost omoplata pressure, but I think Mike's arm is safe. But he's getting, Steven's got his right leg over the back, making Mike base out. Getting the back exposure. Hell yeah, that was nice. And getting to the back. That's points. I never realized that, but that's just another reason to dislike those seated or kneeling guard breaks. You have to widen your base a lot, and a leg over the back could be a real issue there. Nice. That was great. Good stuff. Cool. Wanted to end it a little early tonight. Hope you guys appreciated a little bit of gi footage. We'll definitely try to get back to doing that a bit more regularly. Largely just depends on how many of you guys stay after for the open mats on Tuesday and Thursday, and keep your gi on. But yeah, in any case, thanks for sticking around. Hope you guys had a great weekend and are ready to get back into another week of training. I know Luke mentioned on Saturday he may extend half guard week through this week as well, just because the holiday schedule took a couple days away from us. Of course, guys, happy to do it. So yeah, we may still be going over some half guard stuff this week. So if we do any, we get all the knee lever stuff I mentioned, all that, we'll, it could still be quite relevant. So, James, I hope you enjoy your trip, bud. Looking forward to when you get back, and hope you pick some stuff up out there and bring it back and show us, man. And yeah, if I don't have your number, I'll get it, and we can figure out a way to exchange some footage if you get any. So hope to see some of that. Other than that, it's back to normal, back to our regular schedule. Let us know. Gonna say a reminder again. I know Josh brought it up today. Competition in January. It's a Naga competition. The date escapes me right now. I think it's in Greensboro, but if you guys are interested, talk to us. We'll start getting things set up to do that, and make sure you guys are ready for it. So follow us here if you're lurking. Subscribe if you like what you're seeing. You can also subscribe over at YouTube. That helps us out a bunch as well. And you can support us at coffee.com/MOBJJ. Other than that, we'll just keep it short and sweet tonight. So go trim your nails and do your laundry. Don't be stinky. Get back to class, and we will see you guys there. Take it easy. Trim your nails. Damn right. What was that? What I missed? Oh, around Mike. Okay, cool. Sweet. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.